Greetings, Patrick here. Welcome to Eight Questions with. I'm the host, and we are going to have a lot of fun tonight. That is for sure. As we will be welcoming in Captain Steve from from the Bucket of Chum, which is a shark movie podcast. Bucket of Chum, the shark movie podcast. That's it. Of course, we couldn't do a shark movie. Pod ourselves without having someone here who knows a little bit about sharks. Now, my first choice, he went belly up. Or I don't know what happened, but we do have a celebrity co-host for tonight, and let me introduce him now. Some of you have seen him before. Looking forward to his insight. So put your hands together and please welcome none other than Brett Kelly to the show. Brett Kelly been hanging out with us tonight. Of course, Brett Kelly would, right? I mean, we are going to be talking about his Ouija Shark and some other movies that he's made. He is the main man of shark movies. So he's a bit of a ham tonight. Yeah, all right. So this is a perfect guest. I mean, we've had so much fun the last couple of years. Me and Eric from Hey Internet. It's Eric. We've been doing Shark versus Schlock, and we talk sharks a lot. And so when I got a chance to talk to Steve, when I saw his channel and I saw his podcast, I said, well, that's such a natural guest for us. Hey Jerry, welcome in. Welcome in. Today we're talking all about sharks. Hey Anthony, how are you? So yeah, we're gonna be talking shark movies, and not only are we gonna be talking shark movies, but we're gonna be talking like bad shark movies. Um, but also some good ones. I think we're gonna be a little bit surprised as me and Steve get into this. There are a lot of good shark movies. I enjoy a lot of them. But as much as people think that's my guilty pleasure, watching pleasure, it really isn't. But I will tell you what like when I go to Tubi at late at night, I'm looking for something to watch. I can tell you what I watch more than anything else. I watch tornado movies. That's my kryptonite. I go over there and punch in tornado or twisters, and I will sit there and I'll watch a tornado movie. And those things are goofy as hell too, right? They're just as goofy as shark movies, but I love them so. I do. I love them so much. They're just a lot of fun because the tornadoes always look like shit. That it's made for $1 million on Sci-Fi Channel, and yeah, they put a lot of effort into the tornado itself, but a lot of times those tornadoes, the acting's good. The acting's good. I mean, the cast gives it all, but man, the tornadoes of course, when you combine sharks and tornadoes, you get Sharknado. Uh, so, um, so we're on the food chain for sharks. Yes, we are. I have only seen one shark in my entire life. When I lived down in Southern California, I was like 14 or 15, and with a bunch of buddies, we swam out to a rock. I want to say it was like Huntington Beach or something like that. We swam out to this rock that wasn't that far away from the shore. Uh, so we got up there, we climbed on top of this rock, and there's like five or six of us, and we're sitting there just talking and talking. And then one of our buddies, he looks and his face gets really white, and he goes, "Dude." And we look around and there's this dorsal fin, you can definitely tell it was a dorsal fin. It was maybe like 50, 60 yards out. Yeah, yeah, wow, we were all Olympic swimmers that day. Um, yeah, I wish. No, we this is in Southern California. It was like Huntington Beach or something like that. Maybe Monica Beach. It was a long time ago, but I still remember it because that was the only shark I've ever seen when I was swimming. I've caught sharks before on boats. One shark was weighed more than I did. It was a mako or blue shark, and in Northern California. The thing was bigger. I think it was about. I think I was even smaller. I was like 10, and of course I didn't ring it in myself. There's no way that was going to happen. But I did hook it, and then my dad brought it in. It was this big. I mean, it looks small if you're an adult. It's like 60 pounds or whatever. But it was. I was probably like 60 pounds or a little bit more, and it's like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, we swam to a rock that maybe was, I don't know, maybe 75, 100 yards off of shore. Um, you know, that was it. It's out there. It's out there, and we all swam out to the rock. Everybody did it. We weren't doing anything really daring, and a lot of people did that. But it was the first time that we had ever, we swam out there, and we looked and saw a dorsal fin. Now I can't tell you what kind of shark it was because I don't know. All I know, it was a dorsal fin of a shark, and that's all I know. And we all hit the water all at once, and we swam. Yeah, yeah, we were scared. Um, I was like one of the smallest guys, but I was like, because I was so small that I was able to get out from underneath them. They're all swimming sort of together, and so I was able to jump out to the side of it, and I swam, and I was actually like the third one out of the water of a six, and they were all bigger, and we're all just like, that was our mindset was whoever's last is going to get it. And so, that really inspires you to swim, swim faster, Eddie. Eddie, gotta swim faster. Uh, so yep. Yeah, that was interesting. I used to live in then I moved to San Jose, California, and I lived what it was called the Red Triangle off the coast of California. It goes from California up to like Oregon. It's the Red Triangle, and that is where a lot of great white sharks are at. And it seemed like once a year, um, there was always some sort of shark attack, some sort of off of Santa Cruz, Stinson Beach or what have you. You see, like one time a year, somebody was getting lit up by a great white. So yeah, I didn't swim in those waters. And well, I didn't swim after I found out that when I was swimming was the worst time to swim. Like I mean, I went out with some friends. We were swimming at night, dusk. And then you read around about sharks, and find out that sharks like to eat during the morning and at sunset. And I'm going like, I'm safe away from home. I'm reading that. I'm thinking to myself, I was out there for an hour swimming around, like nothing heavy, like that to my knees. Uh, and then I read that, and that was my end of my Santa Cruz days. I never went back. I never went off again. No, no, no surfing for me. I used to body surf for the boogie boards. Those are fun. Didn't never do that again. Didn't do anything. I just sat up there. I sat up there and just sit there with binoculars and looking, like so. Uh, but but I do love bass shark movies. I admit I love bass shark movies. And good Lord, there's enough of them like Sharknado and you know, um, Jaws the Revenge, horrible, horrible shark movie. The two-headed, three-headed, four-headed, five-headed, six-headed shark attack movies from the Asylum. Yeah, Asylum does a lot of shark movies. Um, we have Mark Polonia. He does a lot of shark movies. Um, Dustin Ferguson, the worst director ever on this planet. He likes to do shark movies without the sharks. Um, but I have to admit, I have not gotten to know him, but I like to talk to him. But the guy who I really like and I like to talk to about his shark movies would indeed be director Brett Kelly. I really would like to talk to him. I think he's a nice guy. That's really what I think, and he's sensitive. Um, and I used to poke a lot of fun at his movies, and yeah, they are pokeable. They are pokeable. But I saw how sometimes some of our words and I'm putting myself in there, some of our words sort of stung. And so I haven't really done that too much. I love bad shark movies, and I love them for what they are. It's not like I'm going to change my opinion about the shark movie. I mean, if it's a bad one, I'm going to tell you. Um, you know, but if it's a good one, like Sharks in the Corn, like that's excellent. If you want to see a shark movie that will put you on the edge of your seat, you want to see Sharks in the Corn. If you doubt that, go ask Eric. Um, there's also Megalon versus, and they do crazy things with sharks. They have house sharks. They have trailer park sharks. They have bathtub sharks. Um, they have doll sharks, which had a possessed squishmallow. Uh, but some of the good shark. There are some good shark movies. There are some shark movies that do take it seriously. Malibu Shark Attack was one of them. I actually shared that with Eric. I thought he liked that one. He didn't like it as much as I thought he would, even though it did have Shellen Simmons in it. Um, but there's also Ghost Shark, which was actually pretty good. Um, One that I think that Captain Steve is not going to really, he didn't like it too much. But we'll get into it with him because I happen to like it. I actually thought this movie has some heart to it, and that was none other than Santa Jaws. That movie, for what it was, I thought it was really good. I thought the story was, the actors really put their all into it. It's a silly ass movie, but they put energy into it, and I liked it. I was like, yeah, okay. Um, of course, one of the things we'll be talking about too, because I'm really interested in this. But everybody likes slasher movies, right? Everybody's talking about slasher movies. Who the final girl is in the latest Scream movie? Well, it's gonna be Sydney, right? But you know what I'm saying. Who's gonna be the final girl in this new slasher movie? Well, for me, I noticed picking movies out for Sharks versus Schlock, I noticed that like 95% of the shark movies had a shark babe on it. Like there's a big great white shark coming out of the water, and there's a babe behind it, right? Some hot Betty, just whether she's there to take on the shark or become shark food, who knows? But there's always a shark babe on the covers of all these shark movies. So one of my questions is going to be who are some of his favorite shark babes on the movies that he's watched on the cover. So and of course, we're going to get into the really, really, really bad, bad, bad ones. So bad. Sometimes they become cult hits, like with Brett Kelly here. Brett Kelly. This is a Ouija shark figure. Okay. Um, honestly, I don't know if they actually. I know they didn't do a official Ouija shark figure, but I'm wondering this is the figure that Brett got when he made the movie for Ouija shark. It looks just like it. It really does. It's like, is this the Ouija shark? Is this what he got for his movie? I don't know, but it's pretty badass. Um, so yeah, we're gonna be doing that. We're gonna be talking about really, really bad shark movies. And the shark movies are bulletproof, which means are they critique proofed? I'm not so sure about that, Joe. I'm not so sure about that. I mean, I know there's some movies that are just like you could throw a kitchen sink at it and it's gonna bounce off of it because it's not gonna get hurt because it's a self-aware. It knows it's stupid. It knows it's a ghost shark coming out of a sink. How stupid is that? Trailer park shark with Tara Reid. She gets killed in the trailer park. Yeah, that's about right. I can't criticize that. And I don't think anybody else can either. Um, but I do think there are some good shark movies out there they do take their time. There's also some that are so bad they don't care how bad the shark movie is. They just want to go out there and make a quick $5. All right, our guest is here. Those who are in the chat, thank you so much. Feel free to share us out as we bring aboard Captain Steve from Bucket of Chum, the Shark Movie Podcast. And here we go. Ta-da!
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good. How are you, Captain?
Not too bad, thanks.
Uh, well, I'm not sure if you caught any of the beginning show, but I did manage to snag a celebrity co-host for tonight.
Oh, excellent.
Everybody knows here, Brett Kelly, and Brett is here with us tonight.
Nice.
And this actually is Brett Kelly. We had I held when I got this, a friend sent me this, and I actually had a contest to name the shark, and Brett Kelly won the contest. So this is
Oh,
Brett
that's
Kelly.
awesome.
I was just glad they didn't name it Dustin because I would have hurt my feelings. Uh, Okay, all right. Everybody's coming on in to check this out, including my main man Eric, fellow shark lover as I am, of all things shark. Um, it says Jerry's still here with us. Leslie, good evening, Leslie, and Josie Music Channel is here. All right, great. Hook me up. I'll come visit you after the show, and I'll be happy to do that, Josie. Hang around, and we're going to be talking shark movies tonight. Man, I'm excited for this because sharks are cool, and shark movies are even
Absolutely.
cooler. Shark
Yeah.
movies are even cooler. So I guess the first question I would ask of you would be, do you have any shark figures of your own?
I've got a couple of small things kicking around here. I've got Bruce behind me, um,
Oh, nice.
celebrating Jaws' 50th anniversary. It's got the barrel
You got
there too.
the barrel.
Yep. I've actually got this little guy here too, which is actually a pen.
Nice.
And
That's
then
that puts some bite into your writing.
yeah. And then I got this little dancing guy here too.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah.
Look at that. Check that out, Eric.
I think that's
Leslie
that's all I
says.
have in here.
Oh, Leslie says that Jaws is her favorite movie of all time. Yeah, I had the Jaws game as a kid in the '70s. Man, I missed
Oh,
that.
nice.
I would have liked this. I would have liked to have gotten that. Um, but one thing I was doing, I was looking through all your episodes, and you just recently passed 100 episodes.
Yes, I did. Around 100 anyways, including the Patreon episodes and whatnot. Yeah.
I noticed one thing when I was looking at the episode list that you have expanded a little bit on what you cover. I saw Day of the Animals in there, and I saw Grizzly in there, and I'm going like, hell yeah, why not? I mean, those are all, I don't, not so much Days of the Animals, but for damn sure, Grizzly was made because of Jaws. It was a Jaws, it was like it was like Jaws on land with fern and fangs,
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I decided to cover it because this whole year, too, since it is Jaws' 50th anniversary celebration and whatnot, I'm covering movies that Jaws have inspired or like movies that have tried to knock off Jaws or just simple parodies. Like last month or a couple months ago, I covered Blades, which is about a killer lawnmower. But it's very much just the Jaws story, but with a killer lawnmower instead. But yeah, so Day of the Animals and like we mentioned, Grizzly were a couple of movies that kind of came out of the whole like Jaws craze. So I figured this would be a good year to cover some of those.
I was glad to see that I was glad to see that you covered Sharks of the Corn, which I have heard is a pretty damn exciting movie.
I love that movie. I actually have I bought the bundle from SRS, so I got like a little poster and T-shirt with it as well, and I have it on Blu-ray. It's a lot of fun. Like, yeah, it's a cheesy movie, but man, it's a lot of fun.
Would you say it was cheesy or you think it was corny?
Oh yeah, definitely
Uh,
corny.
let's see. Leslie mentioned that she got to work with Joe. Okay, Joseph Masacolo. I think he did soap operas, if I'm not mistaken. Who was
Oh,
in
okay, yeah.
Jaws too. Yeah, you
Oh,
know what's
nice.
funny? When people talk about Jaws, right? It's Universal. Jaws, the first movie is the king of the king. It's Kingpin.
Yeah.
But I got to be honest with you. I always Shark Jaws 2 scared the hell out of me. When I saw that, I thought it was so much more frightening than I did the first one.
There's a few key moments in Jaws too. One, I think it's a very underrated sequel and just a very underrated movie in general. But the one scene that always scared me as a kid was when the scuba divers are going down and the shark is just swimming through the kelp forest, and we just kind of see it appear out of there. That scene always scared the shit out of me as a kid. But yeah, there's definitely a few moments, and even when it attacks a helicopter, like seeing that when you're a young kid is
Yes.
some pretty scary shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Hell, even watching it now, you sit there and go and see that, and it's like, holy crow, because you do hear that sharks are actually they're attracted to the noise. If you fly a chopper over someplace, which is why I think a lot of places now are doing, they're glad for drones because now they can fly the drones over without having, low flying helicopters and whatnot. Because I don't know what attracts it to them. I don't know what attracts the helicopters, but they do get attracted to the vibrations of the helicopters. I know
Yeah,
that they try to fly over fast. They don't want to. If you notice that a lot of helicopters will not hover over a beach. They won't be stationary. They won't do that, especially if
yeah,
they spot a shark. They come in, they look, they see it, and then they go off, and they get everybody off the water. But with drones, now you can go there and you can fly over the water. You can actually see how many sharks there are. You can see, how aggressive they are because sharks are they're it's good to know that they're if the sharks come sprinting into the beach, you're like, okay, let's hurry the hell, let's get let's clear our beach.
yeah,
Sometimes the shark is just out there not doing anything, and and they'll let people know that there's a shark in the area, but they're not gonna rush everybody out of the water necessarily. um
yeah. Because I mean,
it's
like it's their environment, right? Like just as we live on land, they live in the sea and they're just living their lives. So,
It is surprising to see through drone footage. It is surprising to see how fast a great white can swim.
oh, it's incredible how fast a lot of them can swim. It's yeah, pretty impressive when you actually see it.
And of course, back then, that was like the king of the sea was the great white shark. We watched Jaws, and holy cow, the word fear. You mentioned, the great white shark, and now we're finding out that yeah, the great white shark is awesome, but it's not one anymore. It's two. It's number two in the predator area, and that would be right after orcas, who actually go down and they hunt great whites and eat them and
Yeah,
eat their livers and stuff. I've seen pictures of that, and it's amazing to see a 15 to 18-foot great white with a huge gashing hole in its side because that's where the orcas hit it. And you sit there and you think, I just hope that killer whales always stay friendly, or at least they're not gonna try to eat us off the beach.
yeah.
Okay,
At least it's not a Meg swimming around.
right. Yes. Oh my gosh, we'll have to talk about that one too. Let's see. Yep. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that was I was thinking about. He said Joe. I'm thinking I always know him as Joseph. Yes, he worked with him on Days of Our Lives. That's awesome. Jaws 3 sucked though, and 4 was okay. I'm gonna have to switch that around. I I thought Jaws 3 3D, right? Um, I thought I don't know if you've seen it in 3D or not. Have you seen it in 3D?
I haven't seen it in 3D. I wish somebody would release it on Blu-ray in 3D for me so I can even with like especially with the red and blue glasses. Like I want to experience it like that.
Oh my gosh, the effects were so funny. They're
Yeah.
so funny. I mean, they would flash at you and then freeze. It was just like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was really, it was so early on, and you know, they wouldn't scream, they would laugh, you know,
Yeah.
at the effects. It was just people would be, you know, you had the tension in there, and then they show the shark, you know, whatnot, and then they would have the, you know, like the kill or something, and then they had all the, like the bone or the a face or something
Yeah.
like that, and you know, come a freeze, and then people just lose their shit laughing. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, killer whales do eat seals. Yeah, it was so bad in the theater. It was, but it had a great cast though. We got to talk about, if we're going to talk about that. We got to. Oh, Superman 3 comical. Yes, we don't talk about
Yeah.
Superman 4 here. No, this is a no-fly zone for Superman 4. I already talked about that movie. If I can never talk about it again, I'd be happy.
Yeah.
That
That's
was
fair.
Jaws the Revenge. I guess Jaws the Revenge, we do talk about, you know, we hear a lot of people talk about Jaws the Revenge. Well, let me ask you, I'm doing all the talking here, but how did you get into into sharks? What's your fascination with it? And what shark movies did you see first?
So I think definitely Jaws was definitely the first one that I ever saw. And then immediately after that, when I found out there were more, I watched the rest of them. I love every single one of them, even the bad ones. Um, 3 and 4, maybe not particularly great movies, but my God, they're a lot of fun. And I just love it when franchises, no pun intended, jump the shark and just go way off the deep end. I always get a kick out of that. And then like Deep Blue Sea came out in like '98, so I was about 10 or 11 years old at the time. So after seeing that, I was just kind of obsessed. And then I think it was probably around right before I went to college, I saw Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus. And that was one of the movies. Actually, even before that, I saw Shark Attack 3 with John Barrowman, which is just like an absolutely horrendous movie. But I
Yeah,
watched it a ton of times when I was a kid. Um, so I had seen that a ton of times. Then after seeing like a movie like Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus and just how ridiculous they were, then throughout the years I just kind of kept seeing more and more like ridiculous shark movies, and I was just fascinated by how people can take such a simple concept and just turn it into something completely and utterly ridiculous, but also just have a lot of fun with it.
I remember when they did the trailer for Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus. That damn near broke YouTube.
Yeah,
People were sending records watching it. I mean, I think in the first 24 hours they had close to a damn near a million hits. People were just like, hell, even my wife went over and watched it with me. I said, you got to come see this. What do you? I said, check this out, and she watched it twice with me. She, at the second time she watched it, she was just laughing. She goes, "What is that?" I said, "It's a new movie coming out," and so I got to watch it and was just laughing my ass off. It was just like, it was so crazy. Um, See, Leslie mentioned about Michael Caine being in Jaws 4. Yeah, but he got a house out of it.
yeah,
He
he was
bought
pretty
a
happy
house.
about that.
Yes, he says, no, it's not going to win any awards or anything like that, but it bought me my house. So,
Can't
um,
complain about that.
yeah, Lorraine Gary, probably I mean, it's one of those. She was one of those actresses that I never heard of her before Jaws. I never heard her after Jaws. And then I found out that she had married a studio executive, which probably has some, you know, influence on why she was cast. Um,
Yeah, that
yeah,
makes sense.
she was bad. She was bad the whole damn yes, yeah. Yeah, she was married to a producer. That's right. I remember that. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was a terrible actress. Uh, but the cast for but Jaws 4, we have to give credit where credit's due, and it did debut something that we now see in just about every shark movie. Um, and what would that be, Steve?
I'm assuming we're talking about the shark roar. Yeah, for some reason they did it in Jaws 4, and now every movie is like, well, we got to have our shark roar. We don't, but they keep doing it.
That cracks me up. That's like, it's almost like a Wilhelm scream. You know, when I watch a shark
Yeah.
movie, and I hear them roar, it's like a Wilhelm scream. It's like, you know, it's not supposed to be there. It doesn't fit, but it's funny as hell when you hear it.
Yeah.
So,
It's so
it's
bizarre, and especially just for like appearing in Jaws 4, and now every movie thinks that they have to put that in there. Even some of the ones that try to take themselves seriously, I've seen them do that, and I don't understand why. I'm like, just don't do it anymore. Unless you're doing like a very B movie and like very intentional, then that's fine. But when they try to put it in movies that are trying to be taken a little bit more seriously, I'm like, I can't take your movie seriously anymore because your shark is roaring.
yeah, and it's really weird that they go with that when, you know, we talk about shark movies and we're always talking about Jaws, and it's like, well, what did you notice that Jaws didn't have a shark roar, and neither does neither does Jaws do.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean, and look how damn scary they were. They're
Yeah.
scary because the damn shark was quiet, you know, and plus they don't roar anyway. You know, they don't. You know, how
Yeah.
are they going to roar when they have a mouthful of water? I just like to know that. Be like a
Yeah.
bubble. Bloop, 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 bloop. Is that how it goes? I mean,
Yeah.
you
I
just
don't understand the science behind that.
no. Um. So, what was your because we're talking about the granddaddy of all the Jaws franchise. Um, what was your favorite kill of the franchise, or what was your favorite shark kill, or the one that got you scared the most?
I almost think probably it's between two of them in the first movie. One, the very first one with Chrissy, just being
Mhm.
nighttime and like not being able to see like what it is. And like rewatching it now, like that is such a visceral and like violent kill, like way more than I
Yeah.
ever really remembered it being as a kid. Um, But between that one and Quint's death in the first movie, again, is like a really like violent kill. Like I tried to argue that like Jaws wasn't a super violent movie, but then I go back and rewatch some of those kills, and I'm like, okay, maybe those two parts are like pretty violent, but especially Quint's death was, yeah, like pretty scary for the most part. And again, like the shark doesn't make any noise. And even during that scene, there's not even a whole lot of music playing or anything, but it is
No.
absolutely terrifying.
You know, it's funny when I saw an Alex Kittner's death. That's the one that got me.
Yeah,
That's the one that got me.
that one
And
was good too, because like you kind of
yeah.
see the shark a little bit in the background, but not a lot. But yeah,
And then you see the blood fly like that, and it's like, yeah, that got that. You know, I remember I was 12 when it came out, and I think I was 13 when I saw it, and I had to walk out of the theater to compose myself after that because it was so damn scary.
yeah,
Um, I yeah, it's the reaction for Alex. Yes, the way the camera pans back, and yeah, that's a really cool camera angle. Um,
yeah,
yeah, I agree. Um, I, you know, the other one too was the one that I remember people really getting scared at, even more than Alex, was when they went down to look for Ben and they found his boat and his head came floating out of the hole.
yeah,
Man, it seemed like half the that one didn't get me, but it seemed like half the people in the theater just absolutely got terrified of that. You know, the head bouncing out of there, and it's like his face full of terror, and he's dead, and it's like
yeah,
I remember that. It was like holy crow. Uh,
yeah,
let's see. Leslie's parents took her to the theater to see Jaws at 4 years old. Yeah, I don't. You know what? I think 4-year-olds can get imprinted. I think they can.
yeah,
You know, they're probably going home, and dad's going, mom, why is Leslie like, why is she not wanting to go and take a bath anymore? Why is she gripping why is she grabbing the side of the bathtub? You know, why is she leaving imprints on the bathtub? Finger.
yeah.
Um, what got you to, you know, you saw Jaws, saw the impact it had. Um, So, what are the shark movies? I mean, did you immediately start thinking about sharks? I mean, because there was a lot of movies that came out afterwards. You know, a lot of run of the mill shark movies. You know, Orca came out, Grizzly came out. A lot of movies came out looking to be the next Jaws. They even had octopuses come out. There was a cheap Italian ripoff called Tentacles. I think
Yep.
they gave Henry Fonda and Shirley Winters a big payday for that movie, but the octopus looked I don't know what the octopus look like. It's, um, Yeah, well, Italian horror, right? Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, so after the impact of the Jaws, so what was next for you as far as you know, starting your love affair with shark movies? Because I know you watched other films as well, right?
Yeah, like I said, like Deep Blue Sea was definitely a big one when I was a kid, just like action packed sharks and whatnot. And then like the Shark Attack 3. And then after like Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus, I didn't really watch a whole lot of them for a long time. And then I think it was around like 2017, 2018, I saw House Shark because I saw like a poster for it, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And like I immediately bought it on DVD and I watched it, and I'm like, this was a blast. I'm like, it's way too long for what it is, but like other than that, like it is an absolute blast. And I think that that's what kind of started me seeking out like other shark movies, like just other cheesy shark movies, because like there's a lot of like we said, a lot of movies that tried to imitate Jaws or that came out after Jaws, but I was really fascinated by the ones that were just absolutely bonkers and crazy. Like I said, like Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus, House Shark, Sharks of the Corn, and then like all those movies. Yeah, I was just absolutely fascinated by how people can take that concept and just throw shit at the wall and see what sticks and just make a movie about it.
Well, I was, as far as as far as the impact goes, you had the Jaws franchise, but I think if you look at it, the second biggest influence or shark, as far as like a franchise or a series was Sharknado. Um,
Oh yeah, I'm a big
I
fan
think
of
that
that
movie got,
series.
yeah. So, why do you think, why do you think that Sharknado was a hit?
Yeah, I don't really know why that movie in particular. I guess I think it's one of the like first movies besides like Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus to like be brought to like a large audience at the time, because it came out on Sci-Fi, and like Sci-Fi had like some other movies, like shark related movies, come out before that and whatnot. But I think that just pure absurdity and like the more access to this channel just gave it to such a bigger audience that like people just kind of latched onto it and then ran with it, and then like just started talking about it more. And again, with like people having more access to the internet and stuff like that, I think it was just like the right time, right place. Like if it had come out a few years before, I maybe wouldn't have done quite as well, and we wouldn't have spawned 5 sequels to it. But I think it just happened to come out like at that perfect time, almost like lightning in a bottle.
I thought it was really clever because they did a trick that network TVs used to do, like in the 50s and or the 60s and the 70s, early 80s. And the first movie came out and came such a hit. I was really happy for Ian Ziering. Or is that's the guy who's the star of that. I
Yeah,
was really glad for him because he had everybody had done those Beverly Hills 9021 or whatever it was, the Beverly Hills, and it
yeah,
seemed like everybody from that series had done pretty well for themselves except for him. That guy couldn't get himself arrested. He if he was the only one at an audition, he'd still be in second place.
yeah,
Um, and he was just he was like struggling, and it was really cool that gave him the role, and he wasn't he winked at the audience, he's like, but at the same time, he worked hard. He worked really hard, and he promoted the series. And he's really, to me, he's almost like one of the biggest reasons why that movie really took off, because that guy, you open a phone booth and he was there to for the opening. He
right.
wanted to talk about Sharknado to anybody who would listen, and it'll help propel it. And then I think what was really interesting is when all of a sudden they came with the idea of one starting to use like horror icons to pop up in cameos. And then the other thing they did as the later as the series went on was they included sports personalities and the people
Yeah,
from the NBC shows who owned Sci-Fi Channel. That's the reason why I saw a lot of the NBC people on there, and and it was just it looked like just absolutely it looked at just absolutely like a ball. And then the Sci-Fi, I think they did the right thing is when they ended it when they did, because they
Yeah.
don't want to. Um, and that to me, not only did it to help put the Sci-Fi on the map, but it really helped the Asylum out because that was that up till even to today. I'm sure that's still their biggest selling in their catalog is the Sharknado series. But it really saved their bacon, as far as that goes. I mean, they made money for days. In fact, I still wouldn't be surprised if they still aren't making some of their movies using money that they got from the Sharknado series. Um, I mean, do you like your shark movies? I mean, are you like a serious fan? I mean, like when you watch a shark movie, even the ones that aren't so good, but let's ones that are good or are supposed to be good, like The Reef or Black Demon. People with some cachet. I think I want to say Alicia Silverstone did a shark movie, or The Shallows, which is
Yeah.
that's probably my second favorite shark movie besides Jaws 2. It's The Shallows. Man, that was a scary ass movie.
Yeah, The Shallows is great. That's definitely would probably, if I had to make like a top 10 list, like The Shallows 100% would be in there.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I like my serious shark movies too, when they're done right. I wasn't a huge fan of The Black Demon. I thought that movie had a ton of potential and it was just completely wasted. They're apparently making a sequel to it, so maybe they can redeem themselves. Because I'd be
I
interested
feel
in that story. I like the idea of the movie. It just wasn't very well executed.
that's the one with Josh Lucas in it, right?
Yes,
Yeah. See, I was excited for that. In fact,
me
when
too.
when Eric and I when we started doing our Sharks versus Schlock, I told him, I said, I'm gonna, because we were supposed to try to, get the worst of the worst. And I said, I really don't want to send just five shitty shark movies. I want to send you something with some, I want to send some good ones. And so I
Yeah.
had heard about Josh Lucas doing the Black Demon, and I was really excited about that. Um, I thought I sent it to him, but there's another movie called The Blue Demon, and it was just like,
Right.
yes, and it was just like, that's not the one I wanted to send, but I think it had Jeff Fahey in it for a minute, so
Yeah, I think so.
I just sent it on to him anyway because he's a Jeff Fahey fan, so I sent that on to him anyway. But I've been looking for the Black Demon, ever since I heard it was coming out. Um, what gets you excited for if you hear about a new shark movie coming out, and believe me, there's a lot of them coming out. But what gets you excited about that? I mean, or are you? I mean, if you had a chance between watching a good shark movie and doing a pod on it, and then you had a crapo one, what's your preference? Because I looked at your episode list, and there's some decent movies on that list. They're not all turkeys.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I'm up for whatever, good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. Um, I don't think I have a preference. I just because there are some bad movies that I really, really like. I mean, like Sharks of the Corn. Like, if you show that to somebody who's only ever watched like Hollywood productions before, they're gonna hate that movie. They're gonna think it's shit. I watch that movie and I get excited. I'm like, yes, puppet sharks in a cornfield. Like, sign me up. Or
No
like this other
doubt. How
movie
can
I
how,
did.
how can anybody hate? How can anybody hate a movie like Sharks on the Corn? I couldn't understand that. When
Yeah,
when he's sitting there going like, "I hate you so much," and I'm like, "Why?" It's Sharks on the Corn. It's like, this is awesome. And
yeah.
then he blocks me. Not really, but he but he blocks me. He's like, So I'm going like, okay, well, at least I know one thing. At least I know what a good shark movie looks like. I can say that.
Yeah,
Of
yeah.
course,
I mean,
I'm no Captain Steve, mind you, but we hold our own here.
yeah. I mean, as long as it's fun and entertaining, like that's all I'm looking for with a lot of movies like that. If it's supposed to be a more serious movie, then I need like I find a lot of the biggest issues is people try to make a movie outside of their budget. So they try, if they
Yeah.
don't have the budget to like show the shark, they still show it way too much with their terrible CGI. And I'm like, you can do what Jaws did and not show it that much if you can create or even using a shark like that, even I've seen in movies too, which again is fine if that's the type of movie you're making. But if you're trying to make a more serious movie, you need to stay within your budget as much as you can. But what gets me really excited is when I hear that they use like practical effects. Like there's a new movie coming out from Australia called Beast of War, which is like a World War II shark movie where they're using practical shark effects. So that gets me really excited because that's something I'm expecting to like actually be a quote unquote good like Hollywood kind of production movie. But other things like again using practical effects, a movie that I absolutely adore is called Graveyard Shark, and it's literally a
Oh,
guy in a shark suit who
yeah.
basically haunts a graveyard. Like it's absolutely ridiculous, but like the passion that came behind like making that movie really comes through on the screen. So if they're actually enjoying themselves and they're actually passionate about the project, that'll definitely come through on the screen. Then I get enjoyment out of that.
We had Matt Peters on the show. He came over and we talked Graveyard Shark.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, it's a good movie. It's a lot of fun.
It's
I
a hell of a
enjoyed it
lot of
too.
fun.
The practical effects, I'm all in for that as well. I
Yeah.
mentioned Brett Kelly here because you know the director, director and the shark here. Uh, Brett Kelly made a shark movie called Wheezy Shark.
Yep.
Oh my gosh! So that movie was, I remember I got a copy of it, sent to me by Wild Eye. Uh, back, back when Rob and I talked before he didn't like some of my reviews, but neither here nor there. But he sent me Wheezy Shark, right? So I'm looking at it going like, okay, all right, all right. I'm looking at I want to see who's directing it, and Scott Patrick. Okay, so I put it on there. I'm sitting there watching it. I'm so like, man, this. If I didn't know better, I swear this is Brett Kelly. This is one of his movies. I'm sitting there and I'm watching it and I'm like, man, this is awful. This is terrible. So after the movie's over with, I go to review it and then I go ahead and look, and sure shit enough. And Rob knew this, but he didn't say anything to me. He didn't sit there and say, I'm sending you Ouija Shark. It's not really Scott Patrick, it's really Brett Kelly. Because it's Brett Kelly. And so I started looking, and sure enough, there it was. Brett Kelly also directs underneath the synonym of Scott Patrick. And I laughed. I told Rob, I said, man, you got one on me. This is absolutely hilarious. Um, and then I was talking about this to everybody. I was talking Wheezy Shark to everybody, and sooner or later, everybody else was starting to talk about it too. You know how much money he made Ouija Shark for?
No, I don't. I imagine it's got to be pretty goddamn small.
I know I hear your Canadian accent in here, so you'll appreciate this. He made it for $211 Canadian,
That's insane.
and that movie took off. That movie took off. They actually went over to Japan and opened it in a theater they opened in theaters in Japan.
Yeah, that makes
I don't
sense because
think.
they just came out with two sequels. I mean, he didn't direct them, but I mean, it did spawn two sequels now that have also opened up in Japan. So it's done pretty well for itself.
I feel really bad about that too. It's really. I remember this is, at the time, like you and I were talking about Donald Farmer, and here's the flip side of that coin. Is that I saw this, played out. I don't know. I don't. I've never talked on the phone with either one of these gentlemen or any three of them. But I remember that Weezy Shark came out and did really, really well. I mean, well, it did, it got real popular. It came out, it
Yeah.
became a cult favorite, right? Okay, so Brett made the movie, and then all of a sudden, then they announced that they're going to do Weezy Shark 2. Well, they told everybody but Brett Kelly. They replaced him. So was supposedly the guy who was supposed to be Brett's favorite, his best friend. Uh, and Eric's saying 211 Canadian and not very well spent. Well, how much do you think Sharks of the Corn cost?
God, it can't be that much more than that. It's got to be around the same ballpark, like maybe $500 because they had a couple more puppets. But
They probably use real corn, real corn too, to swim through.
yeah, that's true too.
They probably took a page from Christopher Nolan in Interstellar when he made a
Oh
he made
yeah,
a planet of real. That's probably what they did for corn Sharks
yeah,
of the Corn. Was they actually
yeah.
so Brett he didn't get asked to do the second movie, and they asked his best friend to do it, and boy, he was really crushed. He was talking about quitting, getting out of the movie business because of that. That's when my tone toward the guy softened. I'm going like, man, I feel bad for him. I felt really bad for him. And I'm sort of like, I'm sort of feeling like, man, I can understand why he feels he has a knife in his back. His best friend is like, the guy, like, hey, I want you to come in here and take over for your best friend here. That's
Yeah.
that's just like, I don't know, I could do that. I probably have to sit there and say, no, I can't do that. I'll wait till the next movie comes down the line, but I'm not taking over something that he started. Well, I guess he's back and he's doing the third one. The third one is now going to be coming out pretty soon. Um, but yeah, it only cost. But look what it spawned, right? And now the budget's a lot bigger. I saw the second one. It's not the greatest. But it's still fun and a lot more cheesy effects. I'm not sure if you saw Ouija Shark 2 or not.
Not yet. I'm saving it because I'm gonna be covering it in October, so I'm saving
I
it for
don't.
then.
Okay, I don't know when. I'm not sure when. I'm not sure when the third one is actually coming out. I just know it was being made. Yeah, that's really something too. We're talking about Halloween. Shark movies. They're in every holiday, and now it looks like for the first time that there will be shark movies in October.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. I saw that there's gonna be like a Halloween shark as well, like a movie called Halloween Shark, which is gonna be pretty exciting. I can't wait to see that. But yeah, definitely for this October, I'm gonna be covering Ouija Shark 2, Shark Exorcist 2, and Mummy Shark are definitely the three for October that I'm gonna cover just to try and fit in with the Halloween theme.
I did manage to cover. I did cover Mummy Shark, and it was like, okay, it's what it is, it's
I'm pretty sure that's a Polonia Brothers movie.
yes.
Yeah.
Of all the independent directors out there, what three are your favorite? And name me one who you just like, shit, no.
I think definitely like Brett Kelly. I actually really enjoy his movies like Jurassic Shark. What was the other one? Puppet Shark, I think. But yeah, like I enjoy his movies. We're both from Ottawa, like live in the same town basically, so that's pretty cool. The Polonia brothers, I mean, their movies are they're like some of them are hit or miss, but I mean, when I see their names, I'm just like, yeah, it's just a blast. Like they know exactly what they're doing and what they're making, and they're having fun with it, and like I appreciate the hell out of that. Um, Third one, that one's a bit tough. I'm trying to think of who else has done like multiple um shark movies. But I guess maybe the
I know.
director of Graveyard Shark, because like I would be very curious to see like what other kinds of movies that they can make. Um Especially from Mad Angel Films. I think that they're a great little studio, so I can't wait to see what else they come out with.
Well, I know, Damian Hillian. I know that he does a lot of creature features too. Like he's done The Flood. There's a couple other ones that he did that feature sharks. I know he's done that. Um, it says Mummy Shark. Oh God, not Mark Polonia. Okay, so
Yep.
okay, have you heard of Dustin Ferguson?
Yes.
Do we need to talk about that, or can we just flush that one down flush that one?
Which movies did he do?
I don't
Was it
think
Apex Predators?
I think he's only done one movie, like one legitimate movie. He did a documentary, but the rest of the stuff that he's made is just like
Right. Yeah. I
I'm
looked at
holding back. I mean, that's one direct. I mean, there's two directors that I've discovered in the time I've been on YouTube and watching movies and reviewing and whatnot. I love good directors. I can tell you a ton of good directors, but I can tell you two that are just, I just no way in hell I'm knowingly going to sit there and watch anything they do. One's a director in Great Britain. In fact, this is our rule. We had a rule when we did our Sharks versus Slot contest. Like, you can send each other a shitty ass movie, but you can't send a shitty ass movie from either one of these two directors because it's just there's no fun in it because the movies are just it's actually you just don't want to watch it. And Dustin Ferguson is the one director here, and then Louisa Warren is the one in Great Britain. I just can't. I just can't. They're just god awful.
Yeah,
Um,
I covered Apex Predators last year, I think, which was very disappointing because it was just like footage kind of cobbled together. Like there wasn't
that's what he
really
does.
anything going on, and it was just very disappointing. Because I saw the trailer for the second one, and I'm like, this looks absolutely ridiculous. Like I'm down for this, but I'm gonna watch the first one, and then I was just like, oh God, just somebody shoot me. Like it was not for me. Um, yeah, it was pretty bad. And I feel like I watched another one of his movies. I don't remember what it even was. But yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I think I've only seen a couple of his movies, so yeah, I don't know. They
Uh,
can't all be winners.
Eric saying he also made the rule. I could not send him any Mark Polonium movies, and he couldn't send me any Ferguson or Warren movies. He didn't know that we didn't know that he had accidentally sent me one, but he sent me the Leprechaun movie, and I'm just like, I'm gonna get you back, you son of a bitch. And lo and behold, I did. And
Nice.
oh God, I wouldn't make. Well, maybe so. I was gonna say I wouldn't make my worst enemy watch either one of their movies. I'm thinking about it now. I'm thinking about, yeah, I would because that'd be a painful way to go. Um,
Fair enough.
when you watch shark movies, right? When you watch creature features like this, how important is it that directors try to make advancements in their movies? Like some people, that's what they do. They love doing horror movies. They like doing they want to advance their movie. Like I fully expect Shark Exorcist 2 to be light years ahead of the first Shark Exorcist, just like Ouija Shark. Ouija Shark was you can definitely tell it was they spent more than $211 on Ouija Shark 2. So they took some time to put some money into the movie. And I feel the same thing with, I know for sure that the cast is pretty strong. The cast they have for Shark Exorcist 2 feature at least, I know, at least two up and coming screen queens that are their names are getting out there. So
Yeah.
there is some thought behind it. But do you look at those at shark movies or creature features with that eye, or is that just too highfalutin and you just want to be entertained?
I mean, for the most part, I just want to be entertained. I don't think people should try to strive to necessarily like take their next movie to a whole other level. Now, that being said, I also don't want to see them just make the exact same movie that they made before. Like with Shark Exorcist, I haven't seen the second one yet because again, that's one I'm going to be covering in October. Um, but I would at least expect that movie to be very different and, maybe learn from some of the mistakes in the first one and, expand upon it in that sort of manner. But at the end of the day, I just want to be entertained by it. Like I want to be happy watching it. I don't want to be annoyed. I want to enjoy what I'm watching. So I like if the dialogue's cheesy, that's fine. It's supposed to be a cheesy movie. I'm not expecting, Christopher Nolan style dialogue to be coming out of anybody's mouth in that movie. I just want to be, entertained and, and somewhat of an entertaining story. Like I need to, obviously you have to suspend your disbelief or whatever, but like I need to be drawn into the movie in some sort of manner.
Um, Other than the two big franchises that we talked about, Jaws and Sharknado, like if you had to go and tell, if you had to go and tell somebody about five hidden gems that you like that they probably maybe never heard of, what five shark movies would you recommend to someone who is just getting into it,
So the
other than the big two?
Yeah. The first one I would say is Ghost Shark from I think
Yeah,
it was like 2013 or something like that.
that was good.
Absolutely fantastic movie. Like that is so
Yeah,
underrated. Like it's like a genuinely good time watching that
yeah,
movie. It's very silly, but like it's also very well done at the same time. Very well, like that's somebody who knew what their budget was and they knew how to spend it and where to spend that money. Just a lot of funny gags in that movie too. Like it's a parody movie, but like I don't know, it's just so well done. So Go Shark, definitely that one. Graveyard Shark, like we mentioned, that is definitely
yeah,
one people should see. Um, Again, even Sharks of the Corn, I would argue, because that's a lot of fun too.
yeah.
Um, what other ones?
Do you think we'll
Chum
get a
was a
sequel?
really good one.
Do you think we'll get a sequel to Sharks of the Corn?
I mean, I'd be all down for a sequel to Sharks of the Corn. I mean, you could just basically parody the rest of the Children of the Corn movies if you wanted to, and just like base your whole series off of that. Like I'd be totally fine with that. I think that'd be a lot of fun, actually.
I do too. I know a lot of people other than us two. I know a lot of people would love to see Sharks of the Corn too.
Yeah, I would definitely welcome a sequel any day of the week for that.
All right, well, give me two more that would you would tell someone, hey, you want to get into shark movies, watch these.
Yeah, Chum is one. I think it used to be called the Last of Sharks because it was supposed to kind of loosely be based off The Last of Us, which I don't think it is. I'm not really familiar with the shows or games that much, but just a very entertaining movie, very well shot. But yeah, overall just very entertaining. The last one I would say is I believe it's a German movie called Sky Sharks, which is about like Nazis on flying sharks that people have to defend against. It's a
Oh
very
my God.
well made movie. Like a lot of the effects are like pretty impressive for the most part. So yeah, I would
Are
definitely
those the
recommend
same
that
people
one.
who did they did the like Nazis on the Moon or something like the Iron Cross
Iron Sky.
Iron Sky? Is that the same people who did that?
I I feel like it might be because they look very much the same. Like if you like the style of Iron Sky, you'll like Sky Sharks because it's very much the
Okay.
same style. If it's not the same director, it has to be like the same effects studio, maybe. Because yeah,
Okay.
very similar styles.
Yeah, that was a badass movie too.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
uh, all right. Now here's something we're gonna spend a little bit of time on because um, this is something that I'm sure you watch a lot of slasher movies, right?
yeah.
So everybody's always talking about the final girl. Like, what's your favorite final girl? What's your, who's your favorite final girl? Well, I noticed that when I was sending my movies to Eric, I noticed that one thing a lot of these shark movies had, and they always have a shark babe on the cover of the DVD or the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like 95% of it, of a shark movie, it's going to be a great white shark, and it's going to be a shark babe. So I want to hear some of the shark babes, that you've seen on some of the movies that you watch. That like if you had to do a top 10 shark babe, give me some people or some movies that you that you watch because not only did the cover have a shark, but it had a shark babe. So share us, Captain, good Captain, about some shark babes.
I would say probably the first one that comes to mind from the same director as Go Shark, actually, Atomic Shark. I'm not familiar with the actor's name. Most of these movies I'm not familiar because I immediately forgot them after I've done the episode. Just having a shitty memory. But yeah, the girl from Atomic Shark. Um, who else? There's so many.
Didn't Active Entertainment do those movies? Misty Tally. and some one of her producing
Oh,
partners.
she did. Yeah, she did. Zombie Shark, Santa Jaws, Mississippi River Sharks, and Ozark
Yeah,
Sharks.
yeah,
Yeah. I actually really enjoy her movies quite a bit.
me
Actually,
too.
I think she does a really good job because again, like that's somebody who knows exactly the type of movie that they're making and like where to spend
Yes.
their money and whatnot. So like I that's yeah, that's actually a good point. That's another director I would highly recommend checking out her movies and whatnot. Um, as far as other like kind of final girls go, yeah, I don't know. That's a really tough one. Because like I said, there's so many movies and there's so many different ones. I mean, obviously, The Shallows.
Yeah,
Um,
okay. Blake Lively. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
Um, pick one more. Let me look through my catalog here because
I always
there's
wanted to meet Donna Wilkes from Jaws too. I thought she was so cute, and I felt
yeah,
when
she's
you
in
watch it,
another shark movie,
is she?
90210 Shark Attack, which is
Wow.
horrendous, absolutely terrible movie. But yeah, she plays like a psychotic teacher in that. And it's from like 2013 or something like that, or like 2018. So it's like a more recent uh, movie. But yeah, no, I would definitely agree with that. Donna Wilkes from Jaws 2, 100%.
Yeah, she gave such a great performance in that movie. I mean, way and above. Like she was terrified. You hear her scream and
Yeah,
cry. You're sitting there going like, it's like you just want to sit there and say, you just want to yell, cut. Like go get her out of there. Because I mean, she was, especially the way she shook. I mean, like she truly. If you if you didn't know any better, if you put that like in a home movie, Jesus Christ, I swear you think that was real. You think that it was actually real. Because she
yeah.
gives stuff. Yeah, it's
And that's one of those
um
things with Jaws too. Like again, like her performance is incredible. So it's another one of those reasons that it's like a very underrated movie. Like, because you get some really good performances out of that movie.
thank you for coming by, Jennifer. I know we're talking sharks ain't for everybody, but we love them here. We love sharks. Uh, uh, yeah, because that's the one thing. Because I always hear people talk about the slasher movies. Always talk about Alice is my favorite. Final girl, this and that. Or
Right.
Sidney Prescott. Or I'm like, man, this. Look at all the shark babes there are. First of all, you could rate them on the cover. On the cover, like which movie would you watch based on the cover? On the hotness of the babe.
Yeah.
Because they do it on purpose. It's like it's not very often where you see a He-Man with a spear gun. People aren't going to
Yeah.
buy that. Like I don't want to see him kill the shark. I want to see the shark get the shark babe. Uh,
Yeah.
um, now, how about Canadian? Other than Brett Kelly, is there a lot of Canadian shark movies being made up in the Great White North, or does that just seem like an American thing?
It feels like more of an American thing, at least to my knowledge, anyways. I know at one point, Kevin Smith was supposed to come up here and direct Moose Jaws, which was basically like Jaws, but with a moose instead. But he never got around to doing it, and
Thank
I'm
God.
going to keep hounding him on social media to come up here and make it. But other
No,
than that,
please
no, I
don't
think
do
it's
that.
mostly. Other
Please,
than that,
please
no, I
don't
think
do
it's
that.
mostly just like Brett Kelly, as far as at least as far as I know. But again, like the Canadian film industry is like kind of very sparse. Like we have a lot of talented filmmakers up here and whatnot,
Yeah, you do.
but a lot of them just end up going down to the states anyways. But yeah, I think definitely the shark movie thing seems like more of an American thing. But I mean, time will tell.
Mm. So how did the idea for the pod get started? What got you like what, I think there's people that want to hear about the various shark movies that are swimming out there. So what was the inspiration for you to start Bucket of Chum?
Yeah, so I think like I was just in a really like kind of down point in my life, and I went to film school when I was younger, and so like I've always had a love for movies and cinema in general. And I think I was just scrolling through Tubi one day and like just looking at all of the bizarre shark movies that they had. And I think I had like just started listening to podcasts and whatnot. And then I think it just kind of struck me one day. I'm like, why doesn't somebody just do a podcast about all these weird shark movies? Like there's so many of them, like literally hundreds of them, like ones that
Yeah.
people just have no idea about. And I think finally one day I just like bought a microphone and just said, yeah, I'm just gonna start a podcast and I'm just gonna do it. Because I think I wanted to start a podcast anyways, but I never do the things like the way people normally do them. Because normally I'm a big horror guy, so I would have just done a horror podcast, but that's not how I do things. I got to do things weird and different. So I decided to just focus on mostly bizarre shark movies, but I cover them all. Like I said, even the good ones, but I mean with a heavy focus on a lot of these like micro budget films.
Bad CGI shark. Uh,
Oh, that's a fantastic movie.
that's a
Absolutely
great movie.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I wish those guys would get off their ass and come back and do something else. But I think one of them was really sick or whatnot, and I'm not really sure what they're doing. But they haven't done anything since that. And it's a real shame because they're very talented.
Oh,
I would like to.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, who has been your? Well, that's a good question for you. Um, okay, so you got the podcast started. So how did you decide which movies you were going to cover? I mean, there's bad movies. I mean, there's not so good movies. You know, there's a reason. There's different reasons why a movie's not good. Maybe a cast like look at the Asylum. A lot of the times the Asylum, it's because you know they're rushed. They rushed the film,
Yeah.
um, and they can't afford very much money on the cast. So I mean, if you look at a lot of their big military movies, there's always just the main star and maybe two other people in the room with them. Like on an
Yeah.
aircraft carrier of 5,000 people, and there's the
Yeah.
captain with one other person. Uh, thank God we do love the asylum. Uh, I didn't know this. I just told this to my buddy yesterday. I told him, I said, "Man, did you know who did an asylum movie?" And he goes, "Who?" I says, "Carl Weathers did one." Carl Weathers did an asylum movie, and he goes, "You're kidding?" I says, "No, man. It was American warships, and it was a mockbuster, a
Right.
battleship, and
Yeah.
he's in that." And I go, I just could not wrap my brain that Carl Weathers
Yeah.
would had to do an asylum movie. You know, it's like they paid him probably like $10,000, and I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much money they pay their big stars, but I was just shocked to see him do a movie like that, and it's actually pretty sad because
Yeah.
he was such a great actor. I think that came out before he got the Mandalorian gig. It definitely
That
must
would
have.
make a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think he did that before he got the Mandalorian gig.
Yeah.
And he was fantastic in that. Um, but yeah, the Asylum, sheesh, God, they do a ton. I mean, they're always looking for a franchise like the Two-Headed Shark Attack series.
Yeah.
I think if I'm not mistaken, aren't they up to like 7 or 8?
They went all the way up to 6, but they never did like a 4 because the shark and five-headed shark attack starts off with 4 heads, and then its tail gets cut off, so it grows a new head at the tail, and that's how we get 5. It makes no sense whatsoever, but that's what they did. There was talks of doing a 7-headed shark attack, and then it just never got off the ground, I guess. But I mean, I wouldn't say that it's been canceled because nobody really knows what the asylum's going to do half the time. I don't think they know what they're going to do half the time. It's just whatever comes up and whatever they have the money for.
If you had to sit down with Brett Kelly, I mean, if because I think your chances of getting an interview with him are pretty damn good. Um, but if you got a chance to sit down with Brett, because that'll never happen for me. I'm afraid. I'm afraid if I actually got him on here to come on here, I think the first thing he'd do is this, and then jump off. I think he just want to get up here and just say, "Are you on live? Are you live? Yeah. Okay. I just want to say one thing before we start. Okay, sure, Brett. What do you want to say? Okay. Um, but if you had a chance to talk to Brett about because he's a fellow Canadian filmmaker and whatnot, what would be your first 3 questions to him?
I think one would be like, what are the challenges of like trying to make a micro budget film in Canada? Because again, the landscape up here is very different for making movies than it is in the States and whatnot, as far as like funding goes and things like that. Two, probably like why, why did you decide to start making movies? Because that's a question that always fascinates me about like anybody who makes movies, because sometimes like the answers really kind of surprise you. They're like, oh yeah, my favorite movie is Citizen Kane, but I'm directing movies, like Killer Clown Slasher Camp or something like that. Then they have like such a highbrow favorite movie, but then they're doing these like micro budget films. um so
But
yeah, I think
sometimes
those
though,
two
you know,
for
sometimes
sure.
doing those movies though, man, you know what's really awesome about doing that to me is that you get to control everything. You know,
Oh,
you get
absolutely,
you
yeah.
get you get the cast, you get the you do location shooting. I mean, you pretty much get to control where you go. Whereas a big studio picture, there's only a handful of directors left standing that actually have creative control over anything they do, and their names are not
Yeah.
Scorsese or Coppola anymore.
No. No, absolutely not. Um, yeah, like I think probably like Tarantino, Nolan, and I don't know,
Spielberg.
definitely those two. Spielberg, yeah, those are probably like the three guys who can get away with doing like whatever they want on film. But yeah, like you said, there's too much influence from studio. And that's definitely how I would, if like I got an opportunity to make a movie somehow, like I got some magical funding, it would definitely be an independent micro budget style filmmaking. I wouldn't want a big studio, telling me what I can and can't do, who I can and can't hire, um, and things like that. So I think that's probably where most of my questions would be kind of geared towards Brett, is just like, why like just micro budgets, and if he's ever had an interest in like pursuing like higher budget films, or if he's just like happy doing the micro budget things, because I'm sure a lot of people are, because they don't want to get into the studio system, or maybe they just can't, especially here in Canada. Like
Yeah.
you can't really just get into the studio system. Like I said, you pretty much just have to go and move to the States.
But you're right though. Canada has a ton of talent, a ton of talent. I've talked to many Canadian filmmakers and actors out there, and I mean, I know one actress who I think will pop maybe next year. Canadian actress named Elizabeth Chamberlain. I fully expect her to pop.
Oh, okay,
She's
yeah,
really good, real good.
yeah,
Um, but so now you've had guests on your show because most of the time your podcast is just you.
yeah.
Um, but so how do you decide what movie you're going to be watching that particular week? I mean, and do you collect physical media to add on to your movies that you talk about, or are you or do you stream all the movies that you talk about on your pod?
It's about 50-50. Like I do have a lot of physical media. Like even we were just
Nice.
talking about Tentacles. I have it on Blu-ray right here. um, yeah,
Why? Why?
uh, like I said, I love collecting physical media.
Yeah.
But right now it's like 50-50 because like just things are so expensive and whatnot. But yeah, 50-50, like a lot of the times I'll just find something on Tubi, or Amazon Prime or whatever. But I do own like quite a bit of physical media as well. Um, as far as choosing goes, a lot of the time it's just kind of a toss up. Like I just try and pick a bunch of random movies to like plan a couple of months ahead or whatever. This year I pretty much planned out the whole year because it was the Jaws 50th celebration. So I was picking movies again. At least one episode a month that I'm doing this year is Jaws related. So whether it's a movie that was inspired by Jaws or tried to parody Jaws, so movies like Cruel Jaws, also known as Jaws 5,
Yeah.
The Great White, Grizzly, Blades, like all movies like that. And so some of the months I kind of centered around that. Back in April, I covered Alligator, and so I did Alligator
Nice.
April. So I just did a bunch of Alligator movies
I
that
think
month.
alligators fall into the shark movie category. I think you could actually do alligators and crocodiles and stuff. I think that definitely counts as far as it being like in a shark movie class. If you're gonna sit there and say, well, I'm gonna send you 5 shark movies. Well, why can't you send 4 shark movies and a crocodile movie? I think it counts.
Oh yeah, 100%. And this month I'm doing Octopus August because I'm looking at Peter Benchley did a mini series called The
The
Beast, so
Beast.
I'm going to be
Yeah.
taking a look at that. The past couple of weeks I just covered Octopus and Octopus 2. Octopus 2 is very much just Jaws, basically. The first movie, they have characters named, one of them is named Roy, and the other one is named Shaw. So basically, Roy Scheider and Robert Shaw. I didn't even realize it until I was halfway through the episode and I was looking at my notes, and I'm like, that's a Jaws reference if I've ever seen one. um, so yeah, like this year, basically, I planned my whole year out, but otherwise, it's just kind of a toss up. And like, it's always like subject to change too, because sometimes a new movie will come out that I want to talk about. But yeah, for the most part, it's just whatever I think might be interesting. Like I said, occasionally I'll do like a theme kind of month. Like January's I do like sequels because I'm basically doing sequels to movies I've covered before. And that started with because the first episode I ever did was Two-Headed Shark Attack. So every January
Nice.
now I'm covering a new multi-headed shark attack movie. I think I have one more left to do, and then I'm out of multi-headed shark movies.
I didn't realize this, and I've been sort of been scared to mention it because I know it'll probably be used against me. But I found out that my buddy who left me a bunch of movies, he actually has a copy of Six-Headed Shark Attack. Which I found in one of his binders. So
Nice.
I have a few shark movies left. I still have The Reef. I still haven't seen The Reef, and I haven't seen Six-Headed Shark Attack, and I'm sure there's a couple of other ones out there as well that I have not watched. I mean I look for shark movies, sure. I think I only have like Sharknado 2. I don't have the whole series. I just have the one. I just couldn't do it. I saw it on sale for like $1, and I'm just like, I just can't do it. This is before I got into doing the show and meeting a lot of people.
Yeah.
I had a video store I used to go to, and then put all the shark movies, all the Sharknadoes, and I'm going like, I just no, I just can't do it. And then I got one. I got one when they closed, and so I went in there, and there was a one copy of Shark, the second one. So I said, I'll pick this up for $1. So, but it's sort of funny. So I go to the library to get my movies, and I thought for sure I would actually see a lot of Sharknadoes because people, it's not exactly when you walk inside your home and you're showing someone your movie room or your man cave or what have you. It's not really, you don't really think the first thing you're going to show a visitor is, look, I got all the Sharknado movies, Uh, but how about this? Tell us about. No, I'm going to go back to this because this is really curious for me. Um, you got Grizzly. Why did you start picking? Why did you go out of the? Was it because of the Jaws connection, or was it the idea that, hey, I like the idea of doing creatures like sharks or killer whales or octopuses. You turn around and you do a grizzly because there's a few bear movies out there, very good bear movies. By the way, you have Backcountry, which is excellent.
Yep.
Into the Grizzly Maze, into the Grizzly Maze. There's been a few out there that have like I think they play it a lot more serious when it comes down to bear movies than to do shark movies. But so why did you expand the animal pool, so to speak? What caused you to do that?
For Grizzly, like 100% because it was the Jaws thing, because it was a direct response to Jaws coming out. So I decided to just do the whole month of bear movies, and I actually managed to find a movie on YouTube called Claws, I think from 1977, which I'd never heard of before. But after I watched it, I'm like, this is a hidden gem. Like this is something I was very excited to talk about. And then over on Patreon, I talked about Grizzly 2, The Revenge.
Oh,
Just for anybody listening,
I don't know what was
just
the
don't.
revenge on. Was it the revenge on us that we
It
watched
must
it?
have been. Yeah. I don't know what we did wrong, but we got revenge taken out on us.
Boy, they cursed us big time. It's like, here, we'll show you. Here, Grizzly 2. That's definitely got to
Oh
be in the
God.
top 10 worst movies ever released.
100%. Yeah. Which is like crazy to say because like there's a couple of shots in the movie where I'm like, hey, this is really cool. But they unfortunately packed it with so much other modern stock footage from when they released the movie. Like footage from like 2020 just like slipped in here like we're not supposed to notice. Like, yeah, it was just horrendous. 100%. That's got to be like top 10 worst. But yeah, also on the Patreon too, though, I cover like aquatic themed movies. Like one month I did Warlords of Atlantis. I did this other
Nice.
movie called Crabs, which was a fantastic movie. I've been covering Creature from the Black Lagoon movies in October. Um, so yeah, just something to kind of expand a little bit, but I do like focusing mostly on the shark movies because I'm definitely not running out of shark movies to talk about. Like there's
No.
still so many, and there's
Oh,
still
there's
ones that have
more
come out
coming.
this year,
Yeah.
yeah, that I haven't even gotten to yet. So yeah, there's definitely still more to talk about. It's just nice every once in a while to take a little break and maybe cover something a bit different, even if it's just one episode on Patreon and then the rest of the month on the main feed is just shark
That's it.
movies. But it's
I'm
nice to
saying,
take a break.
I sent my buddy, thinking, what can I send him, entertain him. So I sent him Mountain Shark, and
Okay.
I sent him Avalanche Shark.
Yep.
Uh, then I sent him. What else did I send him? What else did I send you, Eric? I know I sent him I sent him a lot of quality movies. Um, yeah, I know for those two. Oh, Megalodon versus Bigfoot. There's three
Oh
movies.
wow, yeah.
Oh my God. I always, see, Avalanche Shark is Canadian. Lisa says that Canadian Avalanche Shark is Canadian. There's a lot of
Oh, okay.
Canadian actors that have done that, done shark movies. One of my favorite shark movies, and it had a different shark to it, was Malibu Shark Attack,
Oh yeah, I
and
just
that had,
covered that one recently. I wasn't a huge fan of that one. But there's another one that came out around the same time called Spring Break Shark Attack, which was actually really well done. It's definitely like a sci-fi kind of movie. But
right.
like there's a lot of practical shark effects in it. And it was actually really like pretty well done for the most part. I was kind of impressed by that one.
I'm with you about Malibu Shark Attack, because I do wish, because they had Shelley Simmons pretty much out of the movie for the whole time. She got bit on the leg or something like that, and so she pretty
Yeah.
much was just laying. And it's like, man, if you're gonna have someone like Shelley Simmons in your movie, you got to have her do something.
Yeah.
Put Peter Wilson in that position and get Shelley up there to be our hero, our heroine, because she's one of my favorite Scream queens, and I was so happy to see that she did it, so I bought it, and then I watched it, and I'm going like, well, she's not really doing anything. But
Yeah.
they did have the Goblin Shark, which was different, because while all these movies, that's the one thing too, you sort of get bummed out about. It's like every single damn shark they bring out, it's a damn great white, and it's like,
Yeah,
man,
just because of Jaws, right? Like,
but there's bull sharks, there's tiger sharks, there's makos, there's a lot of other sharks that'll screw you up, given a chance. Um, now, you've had guests on the show. You've had
yeah.
guests on the show. Um, how do you find your guests, and do they have to be fanatically in love with shark movies for them to be on your pod, or you guys just get out there and just hang loose with it?
For the most part, except for one person. So I had an author on, Faith Roswell. She did this book called Movie Monsters of the Deep. And so she wrote this whole book on all kinds of movie monsters from the water, like sharks, orca, like all that kind of stuff. She actually reached out to me to come on to the show. But other
Nice.
than that, everybody else has just been people I've met through podcasting, and I've been on their show at one point. So I just bring them onto the show. And
I
that's
don't think I've ever
basically
seen a
that's
shark podcast before, and at all. I joined two groups on Facebook, for sharks, and
yeah.
and I have not seen anybody out there put out another shark podcast. I mean, I think right now you rule the oceans. You're sort of like the Aquaman of shark movies.
I think the only other one I've seen was like a French podcast, like right from France, but I don't think they posted anything past like 2020 or something like that, and I don't think they were around very long. Yeah, I haven't seen anybody either. That was another, I think, kind of another reason why I did it, because there wasn't a whole lot of people talking about all of these movies specifically. Like, there's definitely movies that you see other podcasts kind of picking up on, like Graveyard Shark, or Sharknado. Like, people are always gonna horror movie podcasts are going to pick up on those ones.
Yeah,
Um,
those are always the most popular ones, Sharknadoes and Jaws. I mean, no one takes the time to
yeah.
go after the Blue Demon or Shark Huntress or Shark Exorcist. What has been the worst movie that you've watched as far as shark wise? The one where that even you were like, holy shit.
One of them you just mentioned, Shark Huntress. Um, Absolutely atrocious. All the love in the world to Katrina Gray, who was the star of that movie. She's also like a producer and whatnot. Totally not her fault the movie sucked. Like, it was right down to the writing and directing of that movie, because 3/4 of the time, there wasn't a shark in that movie. And then they don't even really resolve the shark problem in that movie. They kill the bad guys from the corporation, and then like that's it. They're like, oh, that's all we're doing here. And I'm like, I don't know what I just watched, and I don't really know why this is called Shark Huntress, because I don't think she hunted any sharks in the movie at all. So um that's definitely up there. And it's actually a continuing series I do where I bring guests on, and it's called Seasick Cinema, and I make them watch some of the worst movies that I've seen.
Oh,
So
wow.
Shark Exorcist was one of them, but that's a movie I've kind of come back around on, which is kind of the fun part about doing those episodes, because sometimes people will make you see it in a different way, and it's like, okay, you know what, I kind of appreciate that for what it is now. Or some of them, it's just
But
like, yeah, no, that was terrible. That was just a really bad movie.
I had a discussion with another podcaster about Shark Exorcist. He went to war on it, and I was telling him, well, I'm like, yeah, I mean, Shark Exorcist is really, I definitely think it pushes, I think it pushed the budget for Wheezy Shark as far as which one had the lowest budget.
Yeah.
Shark Exorcist might have won because I watched it. I actually had someone ask me to watch it and review it, and then later on I got to talk to Donald Farmer, and very nice man, very nice man. Enjoyed talking
Yeah.
to him a lot, and he has launched a lot of careers. He has launched a lot of careers. A lot of our screen queens that we get now, he has used before anybody else has, and he's such a gentleman. And yeah, some of his movies, like Shark Exorcist, yeah, I'm sure they made that movie probably less than $300. I'm sure of that. I mean, they were using packets of ketchup for blood.
Yeah.
I mean, it was obvious, and it's just like, yeah, it's but I never hammered him, for that. I mean, I saw what he had done, I saw what he had done for independent film, and it's like, yeah, he didn't have the most money, but after I talked to him and he explained some of his process, I have a lot more respect for him, and I'm really am hope like I already know, like Shark's Exorcist 2, it's gonna be light years ahead of the first one, light years. It's not even.
I'm still excited to see it. And like I
I
say
am
in
too.
all of my Seasick Cinema episodes, I'm like, yes, this is one of the worst movies I've seen, but at the end of the day, you made a movie, I didn't, so like you at least get to go home and take that with you, and
I
I
don't
can't
do
take
that.
that
I,
away.
I can't. I can't do that because if I did that, then I'd be letting someone like Dustin Ferguson or Louisa Warren off the hook, and I ain't gonna do that because those two are the shittiest directors on the planet. And I mean, especially Ferguson. That guy. That if that guy wanted, I wouldn't trust him to direct me to the men's room. That's. I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, he gives a whole new meaning to the word hack.
Yeah.
So, and if he hears this, hey, I'm telling to you face to face, man. It's just I've seen your movies. Just no, just
Yeah.
no. Uh, so what's now? What's next for you as far as for the pod now? Or are you gonna be you're doing what are you gonna do for September? Your theme?
For September, I think I'm going to be doing all the Sharktopus movies.
Oh, right, right. That'll be cool. How many did they do? I thought they did two, right?
So there's three
Three.
American ones, and then there is a Chinese remake of the first one, which I haven't seen yet. Actually, I've only ever seen the first one, so I haven't even seen the
Yeah.
two sequels or the Chinese remake. So I'm kind of excited to check those out.
I know the one I wanted to see was I think it was uh Sharktopus versus Whale Wolf, and that's because it has Casper Van Dien in there. He was
Yeah,
slumming. Yeah.
yeah,
I feel, I feel. You know, when I saw that come out on the Sci-Fi Channel, when I saw that come out on the Sci-Fi Channel, and that he was part of, he's going to be in the movie. I was just so bummed out. I'm just like, man. But you know what? Sometimes those B movies, man, sometimes they just love the chance to get out there and just have fun and be silly. Even though I really wish that he would do a lot more, stronger fare. Um, like I said, it was like, when I saw Carl Weathers pop up there on American Warships, I mean, it wasn't one of those things where I laughed, like, oh shit, it was one of those things where it's like, damn, it's like,
yeah,
why, but I do remember the first the first Sharktopus because Eric Roberts was in it, and I was so
yeah,
surprised to see that, and he was in there for the whole movie.
yeah. He was in there quite
Uh,
a bit, actually. Yeah,
yeah. Uh, and then of course you said how October will be Halloween and Shark. Hopefully, I know it's gonna be Halloween Shark, and I think there's gonna be one called Sharkoween that's coming out both in
okay,
October. Yeah, there's
that should
and
be
then they had
interesting.
one. They did one called Balloon Shark. Did you hear that one? It
No,
was
actually,
based
I
on
haven't.
Balloon Shark was based on the remember earlier this year and last year those mysterious air balloons weather balloons were coming over North America.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they did. They took the
Okay.
so 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 the shark is actually a balloon shark. I don't know how it attacks. I just saw that and I'm like, oh, that's so me. Um, all right. So what's next as far as your pod goes? Is there anything special other than the theme months that we should know about? Have any special guests that are going to be coming on your show anytime soon?
As far as guests go, that's still kind of up in the air. It's just been really busy here, so it's a matter of like trying to get episodes edited and whatnot. But I would like to, before the year's over, get like maybe one or two C6 Cinema episodes in. I had one guest for July for the month of action, where a bunch of podcasters got together and basically just talked about action movies for the most part. And we talked about USS Indianapolis. And so I had Derek from Bad Movies, Worst People. I've been on their show a bunch of times. They were on my Shark Exorcist episode, the C6 Cinema episode. So yeah, hopefully I can hammer out a couple more C6 Cinema episodes because those are just fun. Don't really have a format for them, and we just kind of shoot the shit about the movie, tear it apart, or sometimes make the other people like it more than they thought they did. So it's always kind of an interesting conversation. So hopefully get one or two of those out.
There was a they've actually done a couple. I know Nicolas Cage did one, but they actually did a one on CBS about the U.S. Indianapolis. I want to say it was like Night of the Shark or something like that, and it was a two-part movie about the sinking of the U.S. Indianapolis. Um, yeah, it's really funny when I hear people, after a shark attack, right? And they'll sit there and say how rare it is and how, only, there's only been like, it's only been like 800 recorded attacks, and since the 1900s. And I just look at that and I just laugh my ass off, going like, do you really believe that? There's probably been tens of thousands of people killed by sharks if you include the wars that we fought. If we include that,
Yeah.
I mean, the U.S. Chinook being one of them. That was about the story about the five Sullivan brothers who served on the same ship after they got hit by the Japanese. I think one drowned, two got hit by sharks, and I think one survived, almost survived. He died right before they were rescued. But yeah, World War II and Korea and Vietnam. I mean, all those people. It's like those people didn't count it. That like. But again, I guess they didn't go up to the people's door and sit there and say, "Yeah, well, we regret to inform you that your son was killed by a shark."
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I don't know what you put up there. I don't know what you put up in the window for the help like that.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for a good guest, though, I'm just gonna just promote him because because I'm gonna do that. But my buddy here, who's hey internet, it's Eric here. Hey internet, Eric here. He'd be a great guest for you too, because he loves sharks movies as much as I do. I just sold him out too, but it's all right.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm always down for more people. Like I said, it's
He's
just
a
a matter
great
of
guest,
finding the
man.
time
In
to
all
do it. But
seriousness,
yeah.
all seriousness, he's a great guest, and I think he's entertaining as hell, and he always has something good to say. Yeah, I mean, I'm pimping him out right now, but I'm doing it with much love and respect because he's a great guest, and I would love to come watch him, watch him on your pod and talking sharks and cursing me out.
I'll add him to the list then.
That's right. That's right. All right. We have hit our mark. We actually gone over a little bit. I've had a great time talking to Captain Steve. You're definitely going to be coming back soon. That's for sure. We're going to have you probably have you come back toward the end of October so we can talk about Sharkoween for sure. I had a lot of fun, and
Yeah, me
I have a
too.
lot
Thanks
more
so much for having
questions
me
too.
on.
Yeah, this is great. I really do appreciate you taking the time to come out and talk to us. And I have all your information down in the description box, how people can get a hold of you, contact you and catch up with, catch up the latest the pod that you've done. And again, congratulations on hitting your 100th episode. That's amazing. And go on to the next 200, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much. Yeah, greatly
Yeah.
appreciated.
All right. Real quick before we get out of here, let you go to the calendar. This Sunday, the 17th, the Midnight Society returns as once again the Cat and the Nat will invite the Horror Miser Monty G and the Wonder Twins as they take a look at A24's Cut Bank. This was a pre-hype A24 release, and it is a banger of a movie. One of the best that A24 put out. But this was put out before they were before they all got all overhyped. But it's a great movie, and we'll be talking about that on the 17th. On the 31st, we'll be back here for the ISC show. Me and Mary Wilson, and we'll be covering the film Z, featuring one of my very favorite Canadians ever. If you ever get a chance to have her on our show, invite me on. And that will be featuring Keegan Connor Tracy. Do you know who she is?
I recognize that name.
She's a Canadian actress, and she was in Once Upon a Time. She played the Blue Fairy, and then she was on Final Destination 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and she was in Bates Motel, I think, as well.
Yes, that's right. She was in Bates
Yeah.
Motel. She played the teacher. And I'm
Yeah,
going like,
yeah, she's
I'm going,
fantastic. Yeah.
yeah, I'm going like, if Norman had that teacher for fun, how the hell did he get screwed up?
Yeah.
I mean,
there was just no saving that kid.
No, if Keegan couldn't do it, then nobody could.
Yeah.
But she's in the movie that we'll be talking about on the 31st, and that is Z, which is on Shudder. We're doing another Shudder movie, even though we're ISC, because ISC and Shudder are basically one and the same now. And there's also a new shark movie that IFC released called Dangerous Animals.
I saw that in theaters.
I hear it looked absolutely terrifying.
It's very well done. I will say people shouldn't go into it expecting the sharks to necessarily be the main attraction of the movie. Like, the sharks are just merely the weapon that this serial killer uses. And surprisingly, Jai Courtney is incredible in it, which are words I never thought would come out of my mouth, but I'm saying it.
He's a good actor. He really, if did you see him in the first Jack Reacher movie?
I haven't
He
seen that in
played
a
the
long time, so I really
he
don't
played the
remember
main
it.
bad he played the main bad guy
Okay.
or the henchman. Yeah, they had him and Tom Cruise had that fight in the rain.
Oh, that was him. Okay. Yeah, see, I
Yeah,
didn't even remember that. See, I keep picturing him in like not Live for Your,
yeah.
A Good Day to Die Hard.
Die Hard movie. I know people roast him for that movie. I'm going like, you know what? Don't roast him for
That
that
was
one,
just a
but check
bad
out.
movie.
Yeah, it's just a bad movie. I mean, hell, you could roast
Yeah.
Bruce Willis for that too. You
Oh,
know,
100%. Yeah.
cash grab one time too many into the well. But
Yeah.
Jai Courtney though, he's a solid actor, and when I heard that he was doing this and he's playing the bad guy, I was like, he'll be great in this. He'll be excellent, and
Yeah,
I can't
he
wait
was
to.
incredible.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is it. To everybody still in the chat or watching our replay, I appreciate you coming by, say hi. Thank you for sticking around, Jennifer and Lisa and brother Max and Eric and Anthony came by and Jerry Wilson. Thank you guys all so much. Leslie, thank you so much, and had a great time. And we will see you. We'll see you Sunday night right here. Stay right where you at, Steve, and then we'll talk
Yep.
after the show's over.
Sounds
Sheesh.
good.